Berbua agus Banach agus tá fáilte rómh gléir, you're watching the news at Limerick Pulse. The headlines. Pro-Palestine crowds rally in protest once again on the streets of Limerick. Limerick and Ireland's first ever mayoral election is set to take place in June. Preparations are underway for the Fresh Film Festival taking place next week in Limerick City. Pro-Palestinian supporters took to the streets of Limerick on Saturday to show their ongoing solidarity as the conflict in Gaza continues. The protest marked the 26th weekly rally held in the city and was led by Irish Palestine Solidarity Campaign chairperson Zoe Lawler. Our reporter Aileen Spearin was on the ground investigating.
The protest in Limerick took place the day after Quds Day, an annual global event held to express solidarity with Palestine against occupation by Israel.
We are here because we as humans living in a time of deliberate, calculated genocide, and we do not wish to be the ones who stayed silent.
We've been on the streets of Limerick every single Saturday since this genocide in Gaza started, so we're here to show solidarity with our sisters and brothers in Palestine and to show our complete rejection and horror at this genocide being perpetrated against them by Israel.
John Lannon is the CEO of Durris, a Limerick-based migrant support organisation.
So the Irish government need to ensure they do everything they can to impose an arms embargo on Israel. They also need to impose sanctions and to end their trade with Israel.
For the family of Temirnesium, the situation is getting worse by the day. The 25-year-old Limerick student says that her home in Gaza was destroyed by bombing, forcing her parents and 3 younger siblings to flee.
They spent around 2 months in Rafah, living in a tent in very hard conditions. They were freezing till death, they didn't have enough food, they didn't have enough access to things.
The conditions were so bad that Temir's family were forced to return to her uncle's house in an area under bombardment where she fears they could be killed any day.
I had to watch my family 3 times on calls. Sometimes I wake up like a video call with them after months. It happened that 3 times I have to watch them under bombardment.
Yes.
And last time I had to watch it in video, so they bombed the house next to them and the phone was off and my family started running and I have to watch it.
She is now hoping to raise enough money to help them cross the border into Egypt. Details of Temir's GoFundMe can be found on the Limerick Pulse Facebook page. Aileen Spearin, Limerick Pulse for Limerick Voice TV in Limerick.
This June, for the first time in the history of the state, the people of Limerick will directly vote for their own mayor. Reporter Kevin Horgan has the latest on this historic election.
Excitement is building. For the first time in the history of the state, the Limerick public will be allowed to vote for their mayor this June. The historic vote will take place on the 7th of June. As it stands, there are 11 declared candidates for the contest. Nick Rabbits explains the gravity of the election.
Yeah, it's very far-reaching. Limerick is the first city in the Republic of Ireland. Indeed, Limerick has the first directly elected mayor, and no other city in this country have had its populations elect their own mayor. So it's a very big step for Limerick, and I think the rest of the country are watching us to see how we get on. It's a very big step and a massive move forward for local democracy and local government.
There is no doubt that all eyes will be on Limerick for this historic vote. We spoke to Councillor Sarah Kiley about the upcoming mayoral election. Are you surprised this is the first time in the history of the state that people can vote for their own mayor in Limerick?
I'm not, to be honest, because I think especially in Limerick we have a charter that goes back to before London was a city. Limerick was a city before London in actual fact, and in Merchants Quay the chamber there is the historic seat of democracy, and as such I think people have an affinity with our history, and I think that's why maybe we didn't see it coming forward before now.
This is a big step forward for Limerick. However, there is controversy in the Fine Gael party in the lead up to this election.
And now joining me live in studio is our correspondent Kevin, who has more updates for us about the upcoming mayoral elections. Kevin, I understand that there's some controversy surrounding Fine Gael. Could you shed some light on what exactly is happening?
Absolutely, Tyke. So currently Fine Gael have failed to nominate a candidate for this year's mayoral election. 3 members of their party, Adam Teskey, John Sheehan and Liam Galvin, have removed themselves from the running to be nominated by the party for this year's mayoral election.
And do we have any sort of an indication as to why that's happened?
Yeah, Tyke, so there's been a lot of speculation online to why these three men have removed themselves from the running. However, there is one clear thing, and that is that this does not look good from a Fine Gael perspective.
OK, so with Fine Gael yet to have nominated a candidate for the upcoming elections, tell me about the other parties.
Yeah, so currently all the main political parties have nominated a candidate for this year's mayoral election. Just last night, the Labour Party announced that Conor Sheehan will be running for them in this June's election.
Thank you, Kevin. Limerick is set to roll out the red carpet for the latest edition of the Fresh Film Festival next week, where some of the film's industry's most creative and innovative young filmmakers will showcase their work. Our correspondent Diarmuid Short has more on what's in store at this year's film festival.
Fresh Film Festival returns for its 28th year. The event runs from the 15th of April to the 21st of April. The festival's artistic director, Jane Foley, believes the festival will be more popular than ever this year.
Everybody should be interested because it's the next generation of film talent coming up. It's basically your chance to see the next Oscar winners and to be there when they made their first films. It's important to support young people, to encourage young people. That's really what we're all about, and to help them, I suppose, grow and become better filmmakers.
Troy Studios is one of Ireland's leading film companies. They have been involved with the Fresh Film Festival over the previous years, and they believe the potential in these young filmmakers is absolutely massive, and the future is bright for Ireland's filmmakers.
I was involved with the events last year for the Irish Young Filmmaker Year Awards, and just saw some of the content that was and it was outstanding. Like some of these kids could have literally walked into a job the following day. It really was like they were punching above their weight, and in the greatest sense possible,
One of the main events from the festival will be the Irish Young Filmmaker of the Year Awards. Each participant will have the chance to earn the prestigious award, which is a great incentive for anyone taking part.
Which is basically like the Oscars for young people, in association with RTE and Screen Ireland. It's really exciting that we got that. So this is our third year of it, and this year we're shooting it in Troy Film Studios. So we'll be shooting it next week as part of the festival, but it won't be broadcast until the 29th of April, 7 p.m. on RTE2.
The hosts, Troy Studio, are honoured to host the ceremony and believe that the young filmmakers deserve their awards night as much as anyone else.
The Irish Young Filmmaker of the Year Awards, we're actually having the award ceremony in one of the stages. Really delighted to have the guys on board. Look, it'll be great for the kids too to come into a studio environment and see what it's all about, and inevitably where they might actually try and end up one day. So looking forward to hosting events next week and looking forward to seeing some outstanding content.
Another integral venue for the festival is the Bell Table Theatre, which hosts several screenings every year showing off the participants' work. They are deep in preparations at the moment for this year's festival as they look to play a pivotal role in the progression of these young filmmakers getting the exposure which their hard work and talent certainly deserve. It is sure to be a great occasion which will play such a huge role for the young filmmakers in this city of culture going forward as they look to cement themselves within the film industry going forward. Diarmuid Short, reporting for the Limerick Pulse and Limerick Voice TV from the Bell Table Theatre.
Tá sé ná manis dun sport. Here's Matthew.
Guramaigad Taig. On Céad Rud Anocht is soccer, where there's loads of action in the UEFA Champions League quarter-finals. Atletico Madrid take on Borussia Dortmund in the Metropolitano in Madrid. Diego Simeone's side will be without Dutch striker Memphis Depay this evening, but will be hoping to overcome their German opposition. In the other tie-on this evening, Paris Saint-Germain will face Barcelona in Paris. The French and Spanish champions meet in a massive game for both clubs. PSG will be without right-back Achraf Hakimi and will rely heavily on their talismanic forward Kylian Mbappe. On Céad Rud Ella é Rugby, where Munster legend Ronan O'Gara is back home as he prepares his La Rochelle side for their Champions Cup quarter-final with Leinster on Saturday. O'Gara has orchestrated back-to-back Champions Cup final wins over Leinster and is back in Ireland this week to renew the rivalry between the sides. Racing next, where the crowds at Irish racecourses have been in steady decline in recent years. With Limerick Student Race Day tomorrow, we sent our reporter Darragh O'Grady out to find out why.
Recent figures released by Horse Racing Ireland paint an alarming picture about the attendances seen at Irish race meetings. The HRI Factbook reveals that attendances at Limerick have dropped 60,000 annually from 2019, with just below 34,000 visitors in 2023, compared to that of 103,000 seen in 2019. Neil Casey says that some race meetings don't even represent value for him to set up a stall at.
Their quiet days are getting quieter and quieter, and like that, even at Christmas, the last day would be very quiet as well. Like, they probably over race, I think. For business point of view, they're a waste of time for me to attend. There's no business there. But, like, nobody in the city would even know the races is on. Like, they should be, they're like, there's a population of 10,000 maybe in Raheen. We are 6 minutes from the race right here. I don't think you will see one sign in the roundabout at Casey's Furniture into the industrial estate in the whole of the year to say Limerick Racecourse is on.
Limerick Racecourse relies heavily on income from broadcasters, and there are worries that if attendances don't improve, funding will be removed, putting the future of the course in doubt and leaving Limerick Racecourse employees' jobs at risk.
The worrying thing for me is if SIS reduce their contract, that the racetracks then in 4 or 5 years' time are going to be caught in the loop where we're not getting this television money. We've probably been asleep at the wheel for 10 years because we've been getting this handy money, and our customers are gone.
It's a worrying trend for the course that attendance figures are seeing such a sharp decline in the last few years, and it really needs to be addressed sooner rather than later. Dara O'Grady, Limerick Pulse for Limerick Voice TV in Limerick.
To Dara Jira Glumanish. Dara, you must have hopped over a few fences to get here.
I galloped over from Greenmount Park.
To go to the hurling, Clare Limerick next week, who's going to come out on top?
Clare riding high off the back of beating Kilkenny in the league final. Limerick have a few big names to come back. I think they're going to edge it.
And Dublin out to retain their All-Ireland title. Can they do it?
I think they will. It's between themselves and Derry. Derry have gone very strong from the start of the year. They're going to tire. I think Dublin might just edge them in the final.
Gurmaigat Dara. Shane own sport. Back to you, Tyke.
Before we go, the main news again. Pro-Palestinian supporters took to the streets of Limerick on Saturday to show their ongoing solidarity as the conflict in Gaza continues. The protest marked the 26th weekly rally held in the city and was led by Irish Palestine Solidarity Campaign Chairperson Zoe Lawler. That's all from us today at Limerick Pulse. Idir an Dálin, Tóga Bugga.